Oh shit, okay. Leaked a little bit. YouTube, what is up? Welcome to Coffee with Naisou. I never realized it took this long. Okay, here we go. You just hit the button, you know? All right. First sip. Okay. All right. So I know it's been a minute, YouTube, since we have uploaded here. Been very busy, you know, since the whole last video, really. We have pretty much updated things on the podcast. Check out the Soufcast, if you will. And I'm going to adjust this slightly. There we go. Check out the Soufcast. We are in season 2, and it's going to be a very good season about self-development, self-help, and that whole thing, and how I kind of break things down into 5 pillars, right? So we've got that. What I want this video to be about, though, is not about the podcast or anything like that. This Coffee with Naisou is going to be, well, you probably saw the thumbnail, right? So this video is going to be about the Caster Search 2021 journey, and also to kind of talk about Caster Search 2022. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane, and at the same time, we're going to hype up the possibility that if you're watching this, you might be the next MPL caster talent. Okay, we're gonna officially start here. So yeah, Caster Search 2021. This was the top 9, right? So I was luckily to be a part of that. We had a wild card, which was Jay over here on the far left in the red, and it was interesting, right? Because if I remember right, hundreds of people auditioned. Don't know the exact number, but I know hundreds of people auditioned. At the time, if you guys remember right, I was actually down the road to cast a different game. One that shall not be spoken about. Anyway, that's what I was training for. And, you know, I've talked about this in the podcast. Long story short, I had an opportunity to do a big cast for that game. They told me they were going to get me. They didn't get me, which then eventually led me down the path for Caster Search, where I auditioned on their last day of auditions, right? So, which eventually led me to being in the top 9 here. So it's kind of funny because, you know, you're going to recognize a lot of these faces. OSX was eventually the winner. So he was eventually the winner here. We have Chantel, that's also now an MPL caster. Myself. Sona is the most recent addition to the MPL lineup. Although he pretty much does everything: casting, hosting, courtside, everything, right? And then Santi, of course, too. So that's 5 of us that were in Caster Search 2021 that are now in the MPL, living that dream, which a lot of people aspire to, because it's a prestigious thing to be a part of. MPL is very life-changing. It's a lot of work, but it's life-changing, right? So yeah, that is what do you call this? Like the class of Caster Search 2021, right? So we have that. I want to show you guys. This is my edition. I don't know. I think I posted this on Facebook, but I want to show you guys my edition. I want to show you the edition, and then I want to show you like one of my most recent casts from the season, right? So let's take a look at this. They have the heals, they have the sustain, but are they able to maintain this? And here we go. Chaknu looks like he's gonna go in. He does flicker, gets the toss off, and Oheb with the dashes and the shields, not to mention the sustain. He's able to go ahead and take that down, but Chaknu's up once again. Claude coming in, VJ with the ultimates coming out, and now the CC is in Execration's favor. Tons of stuns and flickers coming out on top of it. Oheb goes down. Wise, the last one left alive, is going to be able to do anything. Could this be the game for Execration? And they turned it around, even with the Lord Blacklist International not able to perform right there, and that's going to be the game going over. So that was the addition, right? That was the addition right there, and you can hear, right, the difference in the cast. But I want to go ahead and show you guys now a recent one. Okay, and then so here we go. This is a recent, well, from the season. This is from the regular season. It was me, Leo Wolf, and this was a amazing defense coming out from a Blacklist International versus Omega. Forgot which week this is, but let's listen to this. The difference between the audition to my most recent season.
Finding the mark. Now Smart Omega looking to end the game as Edward's going to be the next target.
Oh my Venus is
they
alive.
take him down. The queen is up. Can they turn it around? The stun on Oheb, the perfect target. Immortality going to be popped, but Ranzio is there. Can he pull it up? It's a cold altar to turn it around again. And they do it. And meanwhile, look at the top side. Base being focused on. And oh my goodness, actually it's oh my Venus with the turnaround.
AoE apart from it to Max.
This could be it. They're going to push down. They're trying to buy time. Chaknu going to be the next target here. Mega kill for Oheb. Looking for Chaknu. Ryzen is now up, but what can he do? The numbers aren't there. And Blacklist International, time after time, turns around. Game number 1.
So you can hear the difference from the audition over to, you know, the regular season. And then even, I think, you know, I took it up a notch even for the playoffs, right? So my whole point there is that is the progress of 3, technically 2.5 seasons or so. You know, I really didn't know what I was doing in terms of like casting wise. Obviously, when I auditioned, I had very little experience, especially because I was focusing on the past 3 months for another game. And then, you know, when I sent the audition, I didn't know the ability names. Hell, I didn't even know Gord's ability names. You know, you guys know that from my streams. And I was just trying to say the player names the best I could, right? So that was my audition. And, you know, it's kind of crazy to look back and see how far things have come there. So that was the announcement here. I do want to say, just before I kind of go into this personal journey through the top 9, the process of that was a little bit different this time. Because again, we have Caster Search 2022 coming up. For 2021, we submitted our auditions. You got an email to tell you if you made top, I think it was top 32. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was top 32 because that was the first time that when you get top 32, you go into an interview online. It was an interview online, which was a little bit nerve-wracking because that's through Discord, and you go into Discord and you're sitting in a interview with, you know, the MPL casters, the talents, and that was intimidating for me. Because I had been watching them, especially the English stream, and, you know, to be interviewed by them was pretty cool. A little nerve-wracking, but overall it was cool. It was a cool experience. I didn't really know what to expect, and they had us do like some type of, you know, they had us do some casts and whatnot, starting with like just casting random stuff, basically. If I remember right, even Tetris and whatnot, you know, it was, you basically had to go ahead and cast random things. So it put your casting to the test, even if it wasn't technically Mobile Legends. So that was very interesting, the way that all played out. And you know, after the Discord, I think it was after the Discord interviews, then they narrowed it down to top 16, if I remember right, top 16. And then from there, we had like another round of interviews. If I'm trying to remember right, I think it was, yeah, we had another round of interviews. And then eventually it came down to the top 8. So we actually thought it was going to be a top 8, and then they did like a wild card thing. So it ended up being a top 9. And that's where, you know, Jay came in. Our good friend Jay Perillo, right? Who he's not really he wasn't really a caster per se, but he was like a host, and so he was there, and so it ended up being basically like a top 9 situation. So that top 9 then went to the boot camp. So that's another thing that basically is going to be happening for Caster Search 2022. I think a very similar process in terms of the numbers. I expect there's going to be way more people that apply or audition. And also the audition is going to be a little bit different. So I'll talk about that towards the end here. But yeah, basically it was a heck of a process to get to the top 9. And once you did, that's where, that's where you got to the boot camp aspect. So there was like 3-day boot camp type thing. And at first it was, classes like this, right? This was like one of the first ones. And there's also videos of this. So if you guys want to go back and watch Caster Search boot camp, I think video of day 1 to day 3, you can actually see more of a kind of a well put together video of this whole process. So, from here, again, this is now the learning stage, the boot camp stage. I think this is OSX, Santi, JM, who was a part of the production from season 10. And of course we have Manjin up there. I think this is Chantel too. So they're doing like a practice cast. This was interesting because we got to sit here with one of the MPL casters and attempt to cast. Like that was the first like test right there. We also had some talks, some speakers. We had some speakers, some very notable people. Sir Noel, he is a legendary broadcaster. I don't think I have any pictures of that though, but eventually pretty much day 1 was just at this like studio. I think it was where was the studio? It was in Eastwood. No, it wasn't in Eastwood. Or was it? It wasn't Eastwood. It was Goliath. Sorry, yeah, it was Goliath. I was trying to think of where it was. It was Goliath Concepts that had the first day, and then after that we ended up going to, I feel like it was a Laguna. I could be wrong, but we ended up staying at a place like this, right? It was like a little resort Airbnb type thing. And, they had a pool, had multiple rooms, had a little like shared kitchen place. It was very cool. It was a nice setup, and very interesting, right? There's Sona and Brigitte. And through those next 2 days, we kind of just went through a bunch of different modules, right? The history of MPL, learning its heritage, and kind of everything just put together, right, for us to learn as much as possible. And there's me and Santi, and it was a great experience. 2 days of actually being in Laguna, learning as much as possible. And for me, I was just soaking things up pretty much as I could, because again, I didn't have much experience on the broadcast side for MLBB. I think I have the pizza here because I won it. I won this for something. We had a speaker here, Samantha. I've actually known her before this Caster Search, and she is one of the ones that interviewed me for EGG Network, the Scramble, back in like when we were just a streamer pretty much. And she did a talk on personality development, which was really cool because that, again, there's so many facets. I think it's facets. There's so many facets of being an MPL talent that people don't expect. And I think that's something that is kind of a shock when you are actually, when you actually make it to the boot camp, right? I think, again, a lot of people just don't really expect the little things that come into play when you're being a MPL talent. So this is Rob Luna. We were split into teams. So this was Rob Luna's team. It was me, Brigitte, OSX, and Sona. And, eventually, like I said, throughout the whole process of the boot camp, you learn a lot of ins and outs. And then you get to do like the simulation cast, right? This is the simulation cast. I got to do it with Rockhart and Leo, and it was great, right? You also learn, this is the first time ever too doing a trio cast. So the final day of the boot camp, we had to literally do like a simulation broadcast. And that was very cool because, we have Mara here too. She was doing the hosting stuff. And then this is kind of acting like the panel, as close to the broadcast as it could get. And it was hot as hell because this is outside and we're in a suit, but you just do it, right? You just go and do your best for the simulation cast. And it basically simulates an actual broadcast, right? And at the end of the day, then everybody, once everything's done, everybody kind of celebrates and parties and, has a good time, right? Now that everything's completed. And I think here's the last picture of us. This is the picture of all of us. The top 8, Jay's missing here. So, at the end of it all, the whole experience was really enlightening because you learn so much more than just casting. And that's something that I'm looking forward to because now, right, we're going to have Caster Search 2022 come up, and I will be involved in it as, you know, a judge or like a coach, basically. So who knows what we're going to find, right? But eventually, too, here's the winner, Mr. OSX himself, the grand winner. His growth, too, from season 8 up until now has been absolutely amazing. I think he might end up spending a little more time on the English desk because I've always said OSX does great on the English desk. He does good on Tagalog, too, don't get me wrong. But he just has that look, that personality, and that voice that I think fits really well in the English broadcast. So who knows what we end up finding for Caster Search 2022, right? But yeah, and this was at our first photo shoot, our official, the announcement. So this wasn't announced yet that we actually were both a part of it. I think he had the announcement that he was the grand winner, and then they kind of like kept it a secret that I was also going to be a part of MPL until like right before it or something. But again, overall, it was just an amazing experience for, you know, Caster Search, and that's going to lead me again into, you know, this Caster Search 2022. And so I can't give out details, right? I can't give out the exact details of how this is going to play out and the specifics. But what I can tell you guys is for Caster Search 2022, if you have been considering on like how to become a caster, how to become an MPL caster, or just even the opportunity to learn a bunch, even if you don't win, it is a great opportunity to join, right? What do you have to lose for auditioning? I do know that the auditions open up on November 18th, I believe, which is just in a few days. And I'm pretty sure they've already played the mechanics. Let me go grab the mechanics real quick. So here we go, right? This is Caster Search 2022 now. And your legend starts here, right? And as you can see, this is all of us like grown up now. You look at the first Caster Search picture and then you look at this, right? It's pretty amazing. Just the growth that everybody has. I mean, from Santi to, you know, even Sona after his first season, how he kind of grew a lot just in his first season. Of course, OSX, like I just mentioned, Chantel too, just fellow, you know, she got best Tagalog caster, best Filipino caster, and you know, I just recently got best English caster. So just a lot of growth there in a picture alone. And of course, here's the mechanics. There is Mara, and yeah, I mean, this is something you guys, I'm sure you've seen if you're interested in it because it's been posted all over the place. So you got to be 18 and above. You should be fluent in either English or Filipino. Both is a bonus. I wasn't fluent in Filipino when I applied, and they fully knew that. You gotta, of course, have a passion for MLBB esports and MPL Philippines with sound game knowledge, which honestly, I didn't have that much sound game knowledge. I 100% worked my butt off though when I got to the top 8, and then even after that, when I eventually got into the MPL, I studied so hard for about the month and a half that I had before MPL actually started. So I'm saying prepare to work your butt off if you end up making it even the top 8. So yeah, here we go. From November 18th to 2022, you must fill in a form via the link in the caption. Post your TikTok duet. So one thing that you will need if you want to audition is go to the MPLPH official TikTok page. I think on the 18th they're going to post the video to duet it. And that is your open audition. So people will be able to see your open audition. That is the difference, because earlier when I showed you my audition tape, that was just sent in a Google form, I think. So this time, that's why you want to do your best, right? You want to duet it, and that will be your official entry. And of course, read the requirements, terms and conditions, and each question carefully. Make sure all the provided links are functional, which will be your socials and whatnot. So those are the mechanics there. And like I said, you know, this is a great opportunity that does not come around often. I don't even know if they're going to have one for 2023. We'll have to see, right? But overall, my point is if you've been considering to become a MPL caster or involved in MLBB esports, this is your time, because for all we know, I don't actually know this information, but maybe they get a couple more casters from this caster search. And I'm sure you guys have seen the rumors about MDL. Maybe they get some of these for MDL. I don't know, right? Honestly, that's information I do not know about. All I know is these entry mechanics, these open edition mechanics, and the rest of the small details that I do know, I'm not going to tell you guys, because whoever does make it to the top 8 and 9, they've got to be surprised, right? Just like we were. So yeah, so let me switch over to the main cam here. But yeah, guys, my dog's going to be barking a little bit in the background, but that is the trip down memory lane here. And, before I end this video, because it's getting quite long already, I just want to say, and relating this to what I've talked about in the podcast, take that risk. Again, if you've been considering doing something, or you've been trying to figure something out with your life, this could be a great opportunity. Because if you do get into the top 8, you don't even have to win. If you get into the top 8, there's probably, something is going to happen along the lines to help you out in life. Because if you just look at the top 8 once again, the majority of those people are involved in some way. Actually, I think everybody is, aside from Jay, because Jay is already, when he joined as a wild card, he was already really pretty successful, man. The dude's killing it as an influencer and as a streamer. Everybody else in the top 8 is involved in some way or another. If it's not MPL, it's something else, right? So this is a great time to consider taking the risk and auditioning. And that's why I'm making this video, because I wanted to share my journey with it, where it's led me today. I never thought back then, when I was like, YOLO, let me audition, hopefully I get it. I was feeling like crap because of the thing that happened before all that. And then who would have thought that I would eventually get into the MPL Philippines as a caster, and then eventually get into MSC, Best English Caster, and who knows if we're going to M4, right? That's also something that's next on my list, and I would love to be able to have that opportunity to go cast it, right? So you never know, man. And that's why I always say, take risks. And what do you have to lose for auditioning for Caster Search 2022? So I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. In the comment section below, let me know if you guys are planning to audition. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, or if you have any questions. All right. But until then, we'll see you in the next video. GG WP.